It was on the 26th of February 1852 that the cry, "Women and children first," was first uttered in a maritime shipping disaster. HMS Birkenhead was a steel-hulled paddle steamer in the Royal Navy. It wasn't a fighting ship, it was a troop transporter. And it was transporting troops from Britain to South Africa, to Port Elizabeth in South Africa, for they were needed in a frontier war. And it gone all the way down to the Cape, to Cape Town, or around the Cape Peninsula. It had been refueled at Simonstown and was now going up the coast of the Cape Province towards Port Elizabeth. It was the thick of night and it hit a rock. Those paddles powering away through the water. As it hit the rock, it opened up almost like a tin can and water poured in. Soldiers drowned in their hammocks where they were sleeping. Those who weren't drowned raced to the decks. The ship was listing badly. They couldn't release all the lifeboats. In fact, they could only release 3 of them. The captain by now had lost his head. He was shouting to everyone, "Save yourselves, save yourselves." And the troops were like looking around. And at that minute, their commander, Lieutenant Colonel Seaton, stepped forward with a drawn sword. And he ordered them to stand in parade formation to attention together on the ship, on the deck of this sinking ship. And then he uttered the words, "Women and children first. Women and children to the lifeboats." And the women and children who were on the ship, and there weren't many of them, it was about, I think, about 25, something like that, got into the lifeboats and were put off to safety. Meanwhile, the captain of the ship was still shouting, swim after the lifeboats, grab hold of them." And Seaton saw that if they did that, they would just swamp the lifeboats. And he ordered his men to stand to attention, and they did. And as the ship sank beneath them, they continued to stand to attention. What incredible bravery. It's a story that no one knows. It took 25 minutes for HMS Birkenhead to sink beneath the waves, from striking the rocks to sinking. And as it sank, the men started to swim towards the lifeboat, swim towards the distant shore. And it was at that moment that the great white sharks attacked, hacking men and horses through that night and into the morning. Finally, in the afternoon, a rescue ship arrived. It found 50 men hanging to the mast that was still above the water. They found the 3 lifeboats with the women and children. Some of the men had managed to get to the shore, but out of the 634 people on HMS Birkenhead, less than 200 came out of the water alive. And to this day, locals will still call great white sharks Tommy sharks because they ate so many soldiers. The procedure of women and children first is to this day called in maritime terms the Birkenhead Drill. I bet you didn't know that. But another little story from British history that, we don't know about, but it still lives with us today. Women and children first.